Hello everyone, my name is RANIA and I'm majoring English Literature. So now I want to presentate about teaching tolerance. So let's move on to the video. So what is tolerance? Tolerance is the willingness to accept and respect people whose opinions, beliefs, lifestyles, or identities differ from our own. Important points. It's not about agreeing with everything. It means allowing others the freedom to be themselves peacefully. A tolerant person listens, tries to understand, and avoids judgment or prejudice. So, why teaching tolerance is essential? The first one is social importance. Builds inclusive societies where everyone feels safe and valued. Promotes peace and cooperation among diverse groups, helps combat racism, sexism, xenophobia, bullying, and other forms of discrimination. The second is educational importance, encourages critical thinking and empathy, prepares students for life in a globalized world, helps students develop emotional intelligence such as understanding feelings and resolving conflict. So here's are the dangers of intolerance. The first one is bullying and exclusion in schools or communities, conflict and violence in society. Next is stereotyping and discrimination that leads to injustice, loss of diversity, creativity, and innovation. How to teach tolerance? The first one with model tolerance. Teachers and staff should demonstrate respect in speech and behavior. Correct discriminatory comments or actions when they occur. Second is create a safe space. Encourage open discussion of differences. Ensure students feel safe to express their identities and views. Third, use diverse curriculum content. Include books, media, and history from various cultures and perspectives. Celebrate cultural events and traditions throughout the year. Fourth is teach social emotional skills. Help students manage emotions and resolve conflict. Foster active listening and respectful communication. So, for the conclusion, tolerance is essential for peaceful, respectful, and inclusive societies. Schools play a key role in shaping attitudes and behaviors. Teaching tolerance requires intentional effort, empathy, and inclusive practices. Every student and teacher has the power to be an agent of change. And then we're moving on to the next material is about helping students handle anger, frustration, and aggression. So the cause from all of this is you can say with family issues or trauma. Second is academic pressure or learning difficulties. Third is peer conflict or bullying. And the last is lack of emotional vocabulary or coping skills. So here's are the coping strategies. The first one is breathing exercises. Deep belly breaths. Smell the flower, blow out the candle. You can smell from the nose and then blow out through the mouth. And then the second is safe spaces or calm corners. Areas in the classroom where students can cool off quietly. The third is physical outlets such as stress balls, stretching, short walks, and many more. And then the next is positive self-talking. You can say, I can handle this, or it's okay to feel upset, but I won't act on it. And then the last is problem solving steps. The first one, you can identify the problem and then think of the solutions and try again, and then reflect from it. For the conclusion of this material, students often experience intense emotions like anger and frustration, which can lead to aggression if not handled properly. These emotions may be triggered by academic pressure, peer conflict, trauma, or unmet needs. To support emotional regulation, teach students to identify and name their feelings. Introduce coping strategies such as breathing exercises, self talk, calm corners, and journaling. Use consistent, calm responses to emotional outbursts. Encourage problem solving skills and positive behavior reinforcement. Teachers play a vital role in modeling healthy emotional behavior and guiding students toward self control and empathy. And then we're moving on to the next material is about disruptive behavior. So, what is disruptive behavior? Disruptive behavior refers to actions that interfere with the learning processes, classroom environment, or safety. It includes behavior that distracts other students, undermines authority, interrupts teaching, and then prevents participation. Here's are the common examples: talking out of turn, refusing to follow instruction, defiance or arguing with the teacher, constantly leaving seat or wandering the room, teasing, bullying or provoking peers, or use of phone or technology without permission. Why students behave like this? The first one is attention seeking, wanting recognition or peer approval. And then the next is avoidance, trying to escape difficult tasks or discomfort. And then next, lack of skills, poor impulse control, social skills, or emotional regulation. Next is environmental factors, chaotic home life, trauma, unmet needs, something like that. And then the last is unclear expectation, not consistent rules or boundaries in class. So, for the conclusion of this material, disruptive behavior interrupts learning and affects classroom harmony. It may stem from attention seeking, emotional struggles, defiance, or lack of structure. Common disruptive behaviors include talking out of turn, defiance, aggression, and disengagement. Effective classroom management involves clear rules, routines, and consequences, building positive teacher student relationships, engaging instruction and differentiated learning, using tools like behavior charts, restorative practices, and private redirection, collaborating with families and support staff for consistent interventions. The goal is not just to stop bad behavior, but to teach appropriate behavior through patience, structure, and empathy. So we're moving on to the solving problems. Here's are my answer for problem 1. First is functional behavior assessment, or you can say FBA. So what it is? A functional behavior assessment helps identify the underlying cause or function of Alex's behavior, whether it's to gain attention, escape a task, or exert control. So how does it help? Understanding why Alex acts out allows Mrs. Johnson to address the root of the behavior rather than just the symptoms. For example, if Alex becomes aggressive when facing difficult tasks, she can modify those tasks or provide extra support before frustration builds. And then the next is to implement a behavior intervention plan, BIP. Based on the FBA, a behavior intervention plan is a structured approach that outlines specific behavior goals for Alex, clear consistent response behaviors, positive reinforcements for meeting goals. Coping strategies Alex can use when triggered. How does it help? A BIP creates consistency between all staff working with Alex and provides clear expectation. It shifts the focus from punishment to teaching self-regulation skills. It can be personalized with input from Alex to build trust and buy-in. And the last is use de-escalation and calm down strategies. These strategies empower Alex to take control of his emotions before they become explosive. It helps prevent physical aggression while preserving classroom order and safety. The next problem, use proactive classroom management and clear expectation. Students are more likely to stay on task when they know exactly what's expected and when those expectations are consistently enforced. This also minimizes ambiguity and creates a structured environment. The second is implement active supervision and proximity control. Proximity reminds students to stay focused without calling them out publicly. It also allows Mr. Smith to spot early signs of disengagement and step in before it escalates. And the third is use shorter, varied, and interactive activities, or you can say chunking instruction. Middle schoolers often have short attention spans. Shorter tasks and varied formats keep them mentally engaged and reduce boredom or distraction. Giving students roles or movement also increases accountability and energy. And then the third problem, the first one is establish a behavior contract with Jake. It gives Jake clear, consistent expectation and helps him take ownership of his actions. Including Jake in creating the contract increases his sense of responsibility and motivation. It also creates a natural reference point when addressing future incidents. The second is implement a check-in, check-out, CICO. You can say Kiko, CISO, whatever you want to call it, system. So how does it help? Kiko provides structured support and frequent positive adult interaction, which can help improve behavior. It also gives Jake regular feedback, builds accountability, and offers a fresh start each day. And the last is incorporate positive behavior reinforcement. Catch a praise Jack when he is behaving appropriately, even if briefly. Use specific praise such as thank you for waiting your turn to speak and consider implementing a reward system for sustained positive behavior. How does it help? Often, disruptive students receive more attention for negative behavior. By shifting attention to the positive, Miss Brown can reinforce the behavior she wants to see. Over time, Jake will be more likely to repeat those behaviors to gain attention and rewards. And maybe that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching and see you next time.